I know I don't usually come on to do this type of thing, but there's been two main things that have been happening in kind of Stampin' Up world, particularly affecting the UK. And I just wanted to update particularly my customers and any team members about this. It's useful information anyway if you're a Stampin' Up customer, but it might be that your demonstrator has already informed you about this. So stick around if you want to hear, but I won't be offended if you don't want to hang around for this bit. Okay, so the first thing to talk about is Stampin' Up have been overwhelmed with people concerned about their bank safety, for want of a better way to put it. And Stampin' Up have released an official statement about it. And I just felt it would be really important to read out exactly what Stampin' Up say, because, sorry, I keep seeing this bit of cardboard in the back. It just looks so unsightly. Because, you know, what can happen in online world? You know, one person can say something and go, oh, I think it might be this, or I think it might be that. And then someone else will pick up on it and think it's fact, pass that information on. And before you know it, you end up with this kind of like whirlpool of misinformation going around. So I thought it would be helpful just to state the facts as they are from Stampin' Up, and then it's done. Okay, so the letter was addressed to me as a demonstrator, but I'm sharing with you directly. As addressed in previous updates, we have experienced an increase in communication from demonstrators regarding recent fraudulent credit card activity. We want to summarise both what Stampin' Up has done to address this communication and what you can do to help us. Please feel free to share this information with your customers. This is what I'm doing. Stampin' Up has reviewed its systems multiple times and has not found any evidence of a breach or related problem. We have also evaluated the concerns about fraudulent credit card activity with our banks, payment processors and information technology consultants, and none of them have found any evidence of a breach or other data security problem. We assure you that Stampin' Up is committed to protecting all customer and demonstrator information. Stampin' Up only uses payment processors that are PCI compliant, and there's a reference for that, www.pcisecuritystandards.org, which means they comply with data security standard requirements to ensure that processing, storage and transmission of credit card information is maintained in a secure environment. For years, Stampin' Up has retained information technology consultants to independently confirm the integrity of Stampin' Up's systems. We have multiple companies that regularly scan for issues, including one that reviews our internet traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and one that probes our systems with penetration tests. And there's a reference if you want to find out what that is via Wikipedia. If you just look up penetration test, you can find out about that. If you or your customers have experienced unusual transaction activities, please contact your bank or financial institution immediately. If your bank or financial institution indicates that Stampin' Up may have been involved in a data breach, we ask you to provide your demonstrator support with that information, especially written information from the bank or financial institution detailing the nature of the transaction and the connection to Stampin' Up to assure protection of customer information. We will carefully investigate any suspected data breaches. Thank you for your consideration and assistance in this matter. Sincerely, Stampin' Up. Okay, so that's their official comment on the situation. It has been very, very carefully worded, and so I would just encourage any friends of mine, to be honest, because I've heard that people who don't shop with Stampin' Up, as well as those who do shop with Stampin' Up occasionally or often or whatever, have been affected by various fraudulent activity. Personally, I haven't, and as you know, I shop with Stampin' Up fairly regularly. I've not had any fraudulent activity, so there we go. So that was just that statement I wanted to make on that. Then the second issue is the whole postage situation. So unfortunately, because of Brexit and various customs issues, there has been a very much a slowdown in things getting to their destination. Also coupled with the fact that UPS was one of the few carriers that were actually operating out of Europe. UPS have been inundated with new custom and new parcels, so they have had, you know, more work than usual. Then unfortunately there was a problem with customs themselves. It wasn't with UPS or Stampin' Up. Stampin' Up have actually been working on Brexit related issues since the middle of last year. They have had a dedicated person working at head office to try and sort these issues out, and they have got a contract with UPS, and UPS was supposed to sort it all out very quick, you know, internally between UPS and Stampin' Up, so that no customers and demonstrators will have to pay any extra. Now that brings me on to mention that apparently there are some scams going around. So if you get an email saying we've got your parcel and you need to pay some money to release it, do not touch the links, just delete it immediately. It is a fraud. It is a way of people trying to scam you and make money out of you. So please, yeah, just ignore anything that just sends your alarm bells ringing, any emails that say click here or anything, because I know, and some of you may know, there've been phishing scams, phishing, phishing scams around for quite a number of years, where people will try and emulate an email from a legitimate business like Amazon, possibly like Stampin' Up, but certainly Amazon. I get ones for pretending to be the tax people, saying that I've got a tax rebate. I get ones from PayPal, so-called PayPal, all sorts of, from banks that I don't bank with, saying, oh, there's been some fraudulent activity on your account, click here. Please just delete them. Do not click on anything, because by clicking inadvertently you may be allowing some little worm onto your computer, and it will sit there and start to take information. And this is possibly what's happened with this recent wave of fraudulent activity. You know, loads of people may have just inadvertently clicked on an email and nothing's happened at the time, but then they've hit all at the same time. So it's worth, you know, yes, don't be afraid of doing internet banking. It's worth doing internet banking just to check. And I'm not giving this as advice. This is just purely my opinion. It's worth doing it so that you are able to check your bank accounts on a regular basis, and also you can just check to see if there are pending transactions. Now, please be assured your banks are working day and night to make sure that you are not being scammed, and you will get your money back. You know, that's why we say put our money with banks. So it's not something that, you know, I don't want to scare people, but I just wanted to assure you that Stampin' Up have been looking in very diligently to find out whether or not they have had a data breach, and they, hand on heart, have not found one. So there we go. That was just I wanted to come to you and give you that announcement. I'm really sorry that, you know, orders have not got through. I placed an order myself at the beginning of January and still have not received it. So I'm trying not to focus on what I don't have in front of me. I'm kind of focusing on the stamps I already have, the inks I already have, and just kind of using them and having fun with them, and, you know, enjoy creating with what we have. You know, I'm sure most of us can say that, you know, even if there are stamp sets that we would like and paper we'd like to play with, actually we are very fortunate to be in a position to have lots already. So let's focus on that. And if you do have any problems whatsoever regarding internet banking activity, rather, not internet banking activity, then please do contact your banks. And if you have any questions regarding placing orders, please do contact me. Now, fortunately for those of you who are living in mainland Europe, right, okay, yeah, was that the ink refills? Okay, so a word on the ink refills. There is the other issue of customs allowing inks and products into the EU. So some of you placed orders for ink refills. The reason you have not got them is because they're just not available right now, and they're waiting for data sheets which show the specific ingredients of those inks, so that they can then be stuck onto the ink re-inker so that they can prove that they're not toxic. So once those data sheets have been approved by EU customs, they will then be released, the stickers will be put on, and they will release those inks. Now, I've actually had a bit of an update on that, Martina, so I will just let me read that to you, because we had an update on some of the ink re-inkers today. Hold on. Sorry, there was lots of updates. Okay, we have completed safety data sheets for all classic Stampin' ink refills. So new information this week. The following inks have been relabeled and arrived in Europe. So Cherry Cobbler, Daffodil Delight, Garden Green, Pacific Point, Pretty Peacock, Sahara Sand, and Soft Suede have made it through. Also, we hope to have the inventory of the 2020 to 2022 in colour ink refills in Europe in the next couple of weeks. Yay! And so that means Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight will now be coming into Europe. Woohoo! So yeah, sit tight with that, Martina. I guess the benefit of you ordering them back in November was that you got 20% off, I think. So yeah, hang tight. They are on their way. And if you bought them, I think if you bought them as a colour family, they will actually fulfill those first. So yeah, so hang on to that. Right, guys. There we go. Yeah, Mindy's had issues. Loads of people have had issues. So the best thing to do is please don't turn to the encyclopedia of Facebook for information. The best thing to do is to contact your banks directly if you have any problems. And of course, if you have an issue with Stampin' Up, contact them directly too. And please don't overload Stampin' Up with trying to contact them. Please don't sort of ring them and email them and Facebook them. Just try and perhaps just contact demo support, because they're and if you're a customer, they're just emailed with the email that they supply. And once you've done it, just leave it, because they do not ignore emails, they do not ignore communication. But if you send communication in 3 different ways, they then actually have to spend more time sifting through and figuring out who was, what problem was what. So please trust that Stampin' Up have a very good system to deal with inquiries and issues. Right, there we go. So take care for now, and I'll speak to you again soon. I'm about to come on and do some stamping. Lots of love to you all. Take care. Bye.